Mike Bluehair here, co-founder of Film the Police Portland, and exactly one half of the awesome show, Strategic Noncompliance, that I'm doing with Bunny Boots. This is an update on what's going on with Eli Richie, the cop watcher who was recently hit in a crosswalk, and he got, Eli got substandard service by Portland Police Bureau as they were supposed to be collecting data for his protection in a vulnerable state as he was basically ran over and scooped up onto the hood of a car, and then the lady slams on brakes and throws him to the ground. Eli is in surgery or in recovery right now. I'm on the phone with Robert West, the infamous white-haired demon of North Precinct in Portland, Oregon. Check out filmthepolice911.com. If you Google that, it will take you directly to Uncle Bob's YouTube channel, as I call him. So how you doing this morning, Bob?
I'm doing good.
So, let us know what's going on with Eli. Last information I published was that the doctor, after I showed him, or one of the doctors, after I showed him that x-ray of Eli's arm bone snapped off of the shoulder, they were talking smack about sending him home in a couple days. And I know for a fact that there's a couple friends of mine and Confederates through YouTube that have made phone calls to the hospital administration. They're changing their tune, Bob, aren't they? And they followed that up with actions?
Yes. About 10 o'clock this morning, Eli went into surgery, and apparently I went up and found out that he's in recovery. The procedure stopped, so he'll be in recovery for a little while.
So that's good. And also more follow-up information. Keith Davis of Multnomah County Cop Watch did some research into this woman that hit Eli in the crosswalk, correct?
Yes.
Now, what has Keith come out and reported so far about that?
The lady had no license and no insurance. She's been convicted several times of not having, driving with no insurance, and also meth possession.
Wow. And she was, as far as we know, she was allowed to drive away from the scene, correct?
My understanding is that they had someone, they called the registered owner of the car to come pick up the car.
Okay, so they called the registered owner of the vehicle and then had her pick it up, but she wasn't charged with anything on the scene, right?
She was charged with driving without insurance.
Wow. Even though
they gave her a ticket for that.
Now, even though the video, it's a terrible video. I filmed Eli's computer screen or his camera screen and put it online. Even though the video clearly shows a tow truck driver arguing with her, and we know that the tow truck driver stated, and Eli saw him prevent her from driving off. He had to physically reach in the car and turn her ignition off to keep her from doing a hit and run, even though that happened. And the police could have known this if they would have, interviewed the tow truck driver. Now, we know from Eli's perspective that when Eli was loaded into the ambulance, the tow truck driver that helped him, that stopped this woman as she was trying to drive off by taking her keys, actually physically reaching in the car and taking her keys, that he knocks on the back of the ambulance and tells Eli that there's 8 cops, and I quote, standing around, and no one's taking any witness statements. That's incredible to me. That they're covering up a hit and run, basically.
Yeah, well, it would be attempted, and there's no such thing in Oregon as attempted hit and run.
Oh, right on. So there's no ORS about it. So if you don't escape from the scene, then it's not technically a hit and run.
Yeah, you actually have to leave the scene.
Okay. Now, Bob's a driver, guys, on the interweb. I don't have a car, and I'm not too up on the laws on the streets. Now, it's my understanding, Bob. Now, if I'm mistaken, then correct me, because you're like you have a library in your head of vehicular laws. It's uncanny. Like we've all seen how many traffic tickets or infractions that you've actually challenged in court and walked out without paying a dime. So I know you're like an authority on this subject, but it's my understanding if they catch you driving without insurance, don't they usually just take your car right there? Don't they tow it usually?
Usually.
But is that at the officer's discretion, or is there a policy or a law saying they're supposed to take it?
It's at the officer's discretion.
Okay. So, once again, Eli getting the treatment.
Yeah.
Right, and it's confirmed that this woman did not have her insurance.
Yes.
Yeah.
You talked to her, and I talked to her, and she said that she did not have insurance. She didn't do anything wrong.
Right, so Eli being able to get money for his pain and suffering, having his arm, like I've published the X-ray, people. It's literally been snapped off just below the shoulder. Is pretty low. I mean, he'd have to take this woman who's not very rich to civil court and get a settlement, right?
No, not necessarily.
What would be the other avenue that he could possibly use to get compensation?
The registered owner also has liability.
Oh, okay.
And you can go after the registered owner's insurance.
Right on. So yeah, Eli was actually given a police contact business card that both Bob and I have published to the interweb at this point. Now, Bob, the amount of information that was given to Eli about contacting this lady, we were given to help him a phone number and an address, correct?
Yes.
Now, what was the issue that you and I had with the address, like the information that the police gave? How?
It was, there was no apartment number, and we went there, and there's like 9 buildings. It's an apartment complex of like 9 different buildings. Right.
So me and Bob's plan originally was to go by and contact her and ask her for her insurance information. So we go to the address that Portland Police Bureau collected from her, and like Bob said, no apartment number, and there was 9 outbuildings to this complex, and it had hundreds of units. Like, it took both me and Bob about 2 hours to walk by and look at all the cars, and I was taking pictures of the front of the cars to get ideas of damages and whatnot, but we weren't able to speak with her. But this is ridiculous, Portland Police Bureau. Guys, you know, this obvious special treatment that you guys have been giving Eli, just what it adds up to and what it amounts to is an flagrant disregard for the Department of Justice settlement. See, you know, I don't mind talking on air, but Eli has emotional problems. You know, we all have problems. Bob has emotional problems. Mike has emotional problems. You know, we're the odd ducks. We're the people that don't fit into society. Now, the Department of Justice settlement has to do with Portland Police Bureau's shoddy, murderous, willfully neglectful treatment of people that have mental health problems. You know, and there's a lot of us activists that are activists because of, you know, basically trauma that we've incurred through the system. I mean, you know, whether it be Keith Davis or Multnomah County Cop Watch, or me spending all those years homeless, or Bob spending all those years homeless, and Bob being abused by the system, and Eli being abused by the system. At this point, Eli could be used as a test case for a person with mental issues that is being gaslighted and tormented almost to the point of him having a mental breakdown and losing it. I'm shocked that Eli's been through all these arrests and all these false claims. He's been put on... Our corporate media ran with that narrative that Portland Police Bureau said that he was rubbing himself and you know, tormenting a woman on the waterfront, although the video clearly shows that she walks up to him and asks him for money. You know, I can't see how a woman that's fearful that this creep is messing with her on the waterfront, you know, is going to walk up and say, hey, can you pay me? You know, if there's a pervert in the bushes staring at you and your kids, the last thing you do is go over and ask for a tip, you know. But Portland Police Bureau ran with this narrative that says that Eli is some kind of creep. And then to add insult to injury, you know, we have the chief of police who's sworn to, you know, hold the officers accountable that are under her, continuing this narrative that Eli's some kind of creep. and filing a stalking protection order against Eli for nothing more than asking her questions pertaining to her job. You know, like, I am really concerned that Portland Police Bureau are trying to make Eli kill himself. I know it sounds like I'm, you know, exaggerating, but no, I mean, after all these assaults, I mean, the DA's office literally claims that Eli, just for people that don't know on the internet, the DA's office claimed Eli was out this summer cop watching with Bob, and Eli was stabbed. Can you tell the audience the story about what happened with Eli, with the stabbing?
Yeah, some girl kicked out my window, my back window, and
you were parked,
Eli,
yeah?
Yeah, and me and Eli went chasing after her. Muhammad stayed in the car and locked the doors, and she was with a group, and this one guy turned around and pulled out a knife and stabbed Eli in the arm. And the police went over and arrested the guy, went to the grand jury, and they turned around and said that the DA did the case for, made the case that the guy was protecting himself against Eli.
And you read the court document, and what you quoted to me, Bob. Now, if I'm incorrect, let me know. But you read his paperwork, right?
Yeah.
Now
I didn't read the grand jury case, but I was subpoenaed to the grand jury.
Right. Now, when you were in the grand jury, did the assistant DA not assert that Eli ran into the man who was holding the knife, like basically saying that Eli stabbed himself by running? Yeah. So that's correct.
That's correct.
Wow. So Eli stabs himself, according to Portland Police Bureau and the Multnomah County District Attorney's office. This is just wow. Like, you know, I'm surprised that Eli has the mental fortitude to deal with all this stuff. But
well, here's the deal. It was Gresham Police, and Gresham really worked hard to try to get this case to the grand jury, and it was the DA that screwed everything out.
Right. Because what was this in a crossover border area where right there on that dividing line by the felony flats where Portland Police Bureau and Gresham overlap?
No.
Where was the stabbing? Where did it occur?
181st near Halsey.
Okay, so the Multnomah County DA is the one that messed it up.
Yeah.
Okay, right on. Is there anything you'd like to add, Bob, or any final words before I end this?
That's it.
All right, well, thank you for the update, Bob, and the information. And, yeah, if people out there on the interweb want to support Eli, go over to Son of Hightower on YouTube. All you have to do is type that in there, and you can find him. And I'll also leave a link to Eli's YouTube channel below this. Thanks a lot, Uncle Bob. You know, tell Eli that he's got people that care about him and support him when he wakes up out of his surgery, all right?
Okay.
All right, cool.